In the quiet fields of Heartland, where love and loss walk hand in hand, something unexpected begins to stir. A look that lingers too long, a smile that feels too warm, and a friendship that might be turning into something deeper. Caleb has always been Amy's rock, strong, loyal, and steady. But now, something inside him is changing. He's falling for her, and he knows it's a secret that could break everything he's tried to protect. It all begins on a calm morning at Heartland Ranch. The golden sun rests gently over the stables, and Amy moves with her quiet grace, brushing Spartan's mane. She's found peace again after years of pain, but behind that calm smile, there's still an ache that never truly leaves. Caleb watches from a distance, pretending to fix a saddle, his hands busy, but his thoughts far away. He's been by her side through thick and thin, through heartbreak, laughter, and endless workdays that seem to blend into the smell of hay and horses. But lately, every time she smiles at him, something inside him trembles. It's not friendship anymore. It's something deeper, softer, warmer, and far more dangerous. Caleb never meant for this to happen. He knows Amy's heart still belongs to a memory, to Ty, the man she lost, but never stopped loving. He tells himself it's just admiration, a leftover feeling of protectiveness. Yet, every glance, every accidental touch tells a different story. When she laughs, his world brightens. When she's quiet, he feels the weight of her silence more than anyone else. He starts noticing little things, the way her hair catches sunlight, how her hands steady a nervous horse, how her eyes hold a strength that humbles him. And maybe, just maybe, Amy feels something too, though she doesn't understand it yet. She finds comfort in Caleb's presence. His steady voice, his patience, the way he seems to know what she needs before she asks. But love, especially after loss, is a scary thing. For Amy, it's a road she promised herself she'd never walk again. For Caleb, it's a secret he keeps buried deep, afraid of what it might destroy. Still, the heart doesn't always listen to reason. And in Heartland, where emotions run as wild as the horses they care for, this quiet storm of love is just beginning to rise. Days pass, but something between Amy and Caleb has quietly shifted. The air feels heavier when they're together, filled with words that neither of them can bring themselves to say. Caleb keeps his distance, working longer hours at the ranch, hoping the extra sweat will burn away what he feels. But it doesn't. Every time he hears Amy's voice calling his name, the walls he's built around his heart start to crumble a little more. He tells himself he's fine, that it's nothing, that it's just the comfort of being close to someone who understands him. Yet deep down, he knows that's a lie. There's a moment one evening when the truth almost slips out. Amy is sitting on the porch, watching the sunset paint the sky in soft golds and purples. Caleb joins her, tired from the day's work, the smell of horses still clinging to his clothes. They talk about the ranch, about the new foal born last week, about small things that mean nothing but fill the silence. Then there's a pause, one of those long, quiet moments where the heart speaks louder than words. Amy turns to look at him, and for a second, their eyes meet. There's warmth there, but also confusion. She smiles softly, the kind of smile that carries both kindness and distance. Caleb wants to say it, wants to tell her how much she means to him, but the words die before they ever leave his lips. That night, Caleb lies awake staring at the ceiling, his mind replaying that moment over and over. He knows he can't go on pretending, but he also knows that saying it out loud could ruin everything. Amy has already lost someone she loved deeply. He doesn't want to be the one to open that wound again. He doesn't want her to pull away. So he buries his feelings deeper, wearing his usual smile around her, joking, helping, being the man she can depend on. And yet, every laugh they share feels a little more fragile. Every touch burns a little longer than it should. Amy, too, senses something. She feels it in the way Caleb looks at her, in how he goes quiet when their eyes meet. It unsettles her, and not because it's wrong, but because it feels right in a way she isn't ready for. She tells herself it's just friendship, just gratitude. But when she sees him talking to someone else, she feels a strange sting of jealousy she can't explain. She's been trying to move forward, to build her life again. But now her heart seems to be pulling her in a direction she didn't expect. The world around them stays the same, horses running through open fields, the sun rising over the hills. The family sharing breakfast at the kitchen table, yet between Amy and Caleb, everything feels different. The small moments carry new meaning. When Caleb hands her a cup of coffee in the morning, their fingers touch just a little too long. When he laughs, she feels a warmth she hasn't felt in years. It's subtle, quiet, but powerful, a connection that neither of them can name, but both can feel growing stronger with every passing day. And then comes the moment that changes everything. During a training session, Amy almost loses her balance while working with a nervous horse. Caleb rushes forward, catching her just in time. For a heartbeat, they freeze, her hands pressed against his chest, his arms steady around her. The world seems to stop. The horse, the wind, the sounds of the ranch, everything fades. All that's left is the sound of their hearts beating too fast, too close. Amy looks up, and Caleb sees something in her eyes: fear, confusion, but also something deeper. Something that mirrors his own feelings. But just as quickly, she steps back, brushing it off with a nervous laugh. "Guess I'm still a little rusty," she says. Caleb forces a smile, nodding, pretending it meant nothing. But deep inside, he knows that moment wasn't an accident. It was a sign, a reminder that what's between them is real, whether they admit it or not. Still, neither of them speaks. The silence becomes its own kind of language, one filled with longing, hesitation, and everything left unsaid. Caleb continues to hide behind his easy smile, while Amy hides behind her gentle strength. Both are afraid of what the truth might cost. But in Heartland, secrets have a way of finding their way to the surface. And as the days grow shorter and the nights grow colder, both of them begin to wonder, how long can you keep love a secret before it changes everything? The morning after the training accident, Heartland feels different. The wind carries a stillness that seems to whisper the things neither Amy nor Caleb can say. It's quiet to quiet, and both of them feel it. Amy tries to lose herself in work, brushing down Spartan, feeding the horses, fixing the fence with Jack, anything that keeps her hands busy and her thoughts away from what happened. But it's no use. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Caleb's face, the way his arms caught her just in time, the way his heartbeat thundered against her ear. It wasn't just a moment of fear. It was something deeper, something she can't explain, but can no longer ignore. Caleb, on the other hand, is fighting his own storm. He's in the barn early, pretending to work on a saddle, but his mind is miles away. He can still feel the weight of Amy in his arms, her warmth, her breath against his chest. It's like the whole world stopped, and for one fleeting second, everything made sense. He's tried to convince himself that it was just instinct, that he was just doing his job, but he knows better. The truth is, he's been falling for her for a long time. That moment just made it impossible to keep denying it. As the day goes on, their paths keep crossing. A glance in the kitchen, a quick exchange at the barn, a shared laugh that feels too natural. Everyone else seems to go about their day as usual, but Loon notices the tension. She's always been good at reading people, especially Amy. Later that evening, when the chores are done, Lou corners her sister on the porch. "You've been quiet lately," she says softly, her tone careful but curious. Amy tries to brush it off, saying she's just tired. But Lou's eyes narrow slightly, that knowing look only an older sister can give. "It's about Caleb, isn't it?" she asks. Amy freezes, surprised, maybe even a little defensive. "No," she says too quickly, and that's all Lou needs to know. She just nods, a small smile tugging at her lips, and walks back inside, leaving Amy to stare into the fading sunset, heart racing. Thoughts spinning. Meanwhile, Caleb is sitting by the paddock, watching the horses run free in the field. He's always found peace here, in the sound of hooves against earth and wind cutting through open space. But today, there's no peace. He keeps replaying every look, every smile, every word Amy's ever said to him. He wonders if she feels the same, if she's as confused as he is. He knows what people might think, that it's too soon, that Amy still carries Ty in her heart. But love doesn't always wait for permission. Sometimes it just happens quiet, unexpected, unstoppable. That night, Amy can't sleep. She walks out into the yard, the cold air wrapping around her like a second skin. The moonlight spreads across the ranch, soft and silver. She sees Caleb by the fence, leaning against it, lost in thought. For a moment, she thinks of turning back, but something in her heart tells her not to. She walks over, slow but steady. Caleb looks up, startled at first, then smiles softly. "Can't sleep either?" he asks. She shakes her head. "Too much on my mind," she replies. They stand there for a while, side by side, staring out at the open field. Neither of them speaks, yet everything is being said in silence. Finally, Amy breaks it. "Caleb, about what happened yesterday." He turns to face her, his heart pounding. "You don't have to explain," he says quickly, trying to protect them both from the truth. But Amy shakes her head. "No, I do, because it meant something. I don't know what, but it did." Her voice trembles, soft but honest. Caleb takes a deep breath, his hands tightening on the fence. "It meant something to me too," he admits quietly. The words hang between them, heavy but freeing. For the first time, neither of them looks away. The honesty is terrifying, but it feels right. Amy's eyes glisten with emotion, unsure whether it's fear or relief. Caleb doesn't move closer, doesn't say more. He just lets the silence speak for him. He knows this isn't the moment for declarations or promises. It's the moment for truth, raw, uncertain, but real. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of the earth and the sound of the horses in the distance. Amy wraps her arms around herself, shivering slightly, and Caleb, without thinking, takes off his jacket and hands it to her. She hesitates, then accepts it. Their fingers touch, a small, electric moment, and the world seems to go quiet again. In that touch lies every word they've been too afraid to say. As Amy walks back to the house, her heart is pounding. She doesn't know what this means or where it will lead, but one thing is clear. Something inside her has changed. And as Caleb watches her go, a mix of hope and fear fills his chest. For the first time, the unspoken feelings between them aren't just shadows. They've begun to take form. And in the heart of Heartland, where every sunrise brings a new beginning, this love, fragile, forbidden, and unexpected, is finally starting to breathe. The next morning arrives with the sound of rain. The skies above Heartland are gray and heavy, and the world feels slower, quieter, as if even nature is holding its breath. Amy wakes early, her mind still echoing with Caleb's voice from the night before. Every word he said lingers in her chest like an unanswered question. She looks out the window. The fields glisten with raindrops. The horses move lazily through the mist. And somewhere near the barn, she spots Caleb, already at work, as if nothing has changed. But everything has. Amy spends the day trying to convince herself that things can go back to normal. She tells herself she can keep their friendship just as it is, safe, familiar, comfortable. But every time she sees him, her heart betrays her. It beats faster, louder, as if reminding her of the truth she's been running from. When she catches his eyes across the paddock, there's something raw there, a quiet ache, a question that neither of them dares to ask. Meanwhile, Caleb is struggling to keep his emotions buried. He throws himself into work, fixing fences, checking the horses, doing anything to stay distracted. But Amy's presence follows him like a shadow. He can feel her in every quiet moment, every breath of wind that passes through the ranch. The truth is, he's tired of pretending, tired of loving her from a distance, tired of hiding behind jokes and chores. But he's also scared of breaking what little peace she's found. Later that day, Jack notices Caleb's silence. The old man has seen it all: love, loss, heartbreak, and he knows when someone's carrying something heavy. He walks over, resting a hand on Caleb's shoulder. "You're a good man," he says quietly. "But don't let your heart turn into a prison." Sometimes love ain't about timing or permission. It's about courage. Those words linger long after Jack walks away, echoing in Caleb's mind as he finishes his work in the rain. As the evening sets in, the rain finally slows. The air is cool and still, and the ranch is wrapped in that soft, peaceful silence that always follows a storm. Amy steps out onto the porch, her heart restless. She sees Caleb standing by the corral, drenched from the day's work, staring at the horizon as if searching for answers in the fading light. Something inside her shifts. She takes a deep breath and walks toward him, her boots crunching softly on the wet gravel. When Caleb turns, he looks startled, almost guilty, as if caught in a thought he shouldn't have been thinking. Amy stops in front of him, unsure where to begin. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Then she says, her voice trembling, "Caleb, I can't keep pretending nothing's changed." Her words hang in the air, fragile but honest. Caleb's breath catches. "Amy?" He begins, but she shakes her head. "I don't know what this is, or what it's supposed to be," she continues, her eyes glistening. "But I know I feel something. And it scares me." Caleb takes a step closer, his voice low, steady, and full of emotion. "It scares me too," he admits. "You've been through so much, and the last thing I ever wanted was to make things harder for you. But I can't keep pretending I don't care. I tried. God knows I tried." His voice cracks slightly, his emotions raw and unfiltered. "You make me want to be better, Amy. You make me feel alive again." Amy stands there, frozen. The words she's feared hearing are finally out in the open, and yet they don't bring chaos. They bring clarity. She takes a deep breath, looking up at him. "You were there when everything fell apart," she says softly. "You never asked for anything. You never pushed. You just stayed." Caleb's eyes meet hers, and for a moment, it feels like time stops. The rain starts again, light and steady, falling softly around them. Amy steps closer, so close she can feel his warmth through the cool air. "I don't know where this goes," she whispers. "But maybe we stop running from it." Caleb searches her eyes, looking for any sign of doubt. Instead, he finds something he never expected: peace. Not the loud, overwhelming kind, but the quiet peace that comes when two broken hearts finally stop fighting what they've always known. He nods slowly, his voice barely above a whisper. "Then we'll take it one step at a time." They stand there for a long moment, surrounded by the soft patter of rain and the scent of wet earth. No grand gestures, no dramatic declarations, just two people finally choosing honesty over fear. Amy smiles faintly, a small, real smile that reaches her eyes. For the first time in years, her heart feels light. Caleb smiles back, and in that look, there's understanding that love doesn't erase the past. It simply makes the future worth walking toward. As the night deepens over Heartland, the rain fades into silence. The horses settle in the barn, the ranch lights glow softly against the dark sky, and somewhere in the quiet, a new story begins, one born not out of perfect timing, but out of the courage to feel again. And though neither Amy nor Caleb knows what tomorrow will bring, one thing is certain: the heart has finally spoken, and nothing at Heartland will ever be the same again.